Breaking news coming in at the moment. The Dalai Lama has said the institution of the Dalai Lama will continue, and the Gyaltsab Phobjang Trust has the sole authority to recognize the future reincarnation, ending years of waiting by followers of the Tibetan Buddhist spiritual leader for details about his succession. My colleague Gauri Dwivedi has further details about the succession plan and this latest statement from the Dalai Lama. Let's just go across to her in the newsroom. Gauri, what are the latest details you can disclose to our viewers?
This is an extremely important event. In fact, an announcement that was being really expected not just for the Tibetans inside China or those who are in exile in India, but world over. Now, what has really happened is His Holiness, who's the 14th Dalai Lama, has made an announcement, expected because he had said about 10 years back that when he would turn 90, he would decide whether or not there should be a successor or not. So the first big headline is that there will be continuation of the tradition of having Dalai Lama, something that was up in the air. It was questioned by His Holiness himself about a decade back, actually a decade and a half back, when he abdicated power. In 2011, he had abdicated power, ending a 368-year tradition where the spiritual leader of the Tibetans was also the political leader. So when he made that change, he also raised questions as to whether or not there should indeed be a spiritual leader or not. But that is a process that will continue, that tradition will continue. So there will be a 15th Dalai Lama, but who will that be and how will that be chosen and when that will be decided are still questions that are yet to be answered. As far as the process, His Holiness has put out the statement saying that it is now up to the trust to decide and start the entire search process as to how the next Dalai Lama will be chosen. So there will be a successor. How soon that will be announced, when that will be, who will that be, are questions that still remain. Now, the larger impact of this from a geopolitical point of view, Parmeshwar, that's very important to tell our viewers. In 1959 is when China annexed Tibet. After that, you had the spiritual leader, His Holiness, now coming to India. He's been living in exile since then. In 1960, his government in exile was recognized by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. And since then, till 2011, he was running the government in exile of Tibetans. He then passed on the power, as I said, in 2011. But that process, the central administration of the Tibetans living in exile in the parliament, continues here. There is a prime minister, there is a governing council. That entire architecture is there and continues and will remain so. That's the larger point. Now what is going to happen here is there will be a next spiritual leader. So the rallying point of all Tibetans around the world, that is their spiritual leader, their guide, their philosopher, that will remain. Now this has direct implications for China, which has time and again tried to have its own spiritual leader as far as Tibetans are concerned, because that allows more legitimacy to its sovereign control. At the end of the day, it's the legitimacy that matters. A lot of ethnic cleansing has already taken place as far as Tibetans in China is concerned, but it's the legitimacy that really matters. Okay. And that is going to be the big takeaway here.